The man under my bed was me. Welcome back, guys. Settle in, because tonight's story is a real one. It came from a cheap little pet camera, and a man who did not understand what he was really watching. The apartment was small and quiet. A one-bedroom on the west side of Atlanta. Faded gray couch, cheap TV stand, thin curtains that let in the yellow streetlight from the parking lot. The air smelled like old coffee and cat litter. Based on a true story. A man named Daryl Green lay on his bed, on his back, one arm over his eyes. He was 32, African-American, worked tech support for a cable company, and had the kind of tired face you get from listening to customers yell all day. At the foot of the bed, a gray tabby cat called Rook slept in a tight ball. His tail flicked in small half-dreams. 3 weeks earlier, Daryl's girlfriend Imani had moved out. No big fight, no cheating, just quiet resentment and a long, slow, we want different things that ended with her packing boxes and leaving the spare key on the table. The apartment felt empty now. He didn't say that out loud, but Rook showed it. In shredded curtains, ripped toilet paper, claw marks on the couch like someone had tried to dig their way inside it. Daryl tried new toys, catnip, extra food, leaving the radio on. Nothing stopped the destruction. One night, after a long shift and one too many, "Have you tried turning it off and on again" calls, he sat in the dark, scrolling Amazon, half asleep. That's when he saw it. A small white camera, shaped like a little egg. PetView 360, a live HD pet camera. Check on your pet from anywhere, two-way audio, night vision, peace of mind. It sounded silly, but he felt something pull. It wasn't really about the cat. He didn't want the apartment to feel empty when he left it anymore. He clicked, "Buy now, overnight shipping." The man telling you this wants you to remember one thing. He was not scared when he bought the camera. He was lonely. Fear came later. The next afternoon, the PetView box sat on Daryl's doormat when he got home from work. Brown cardboard, smiling logo, a promise of connection. He opened it on the couch with Rook watching from the armrest. "Look, man," Daryl said softly, "got you your own nanny." The setup was easy. Plug in, connect to Wi-Fi, download the app, make an account. The app asked for permission to access his microphone, his camera, his storage. He hit allow without reading. He set the camera on his dresser, facing the bed and most of the room. The little lens blinked once, then turned steady blue. On his phone screen, he saw himself. The room, the bed. Rook jumping up to sniff the camera, all in real time. He tested the audio. "Rook," he said into his phone at arm's length. A thin voice came out of the camera, slightly tinny. Rook flinched, then looked around, confused. Daryl laughed. That night, he put the cat tree in the bedroom so most of Rook's day would happen on camera. Before he left for work the next morning, he opened the app. The feed showed the bed, the dresser, the window. "Be good," he said into the mic. Rook blinked at the camera and tucked his paws under him. At work, between calls, Daryl checked the feed. Again, and again, and again. He watched the cat sleep. Groom. Jump down, wander out of frame, come back. Every time Rook seemed restless, Daryl spoke quietly into the mic. "Hey, buddy. It's okay. I'll be home soon." Rook's tail twitched. His ears turned toward the camera. He seemed calmer. More important, when Daryl got home, the apartment was intact. No shredded curtains, no ripped couch, no mess. By day 4, Daryl believed he had solved the problem. He did not feel stupid about the camera anymore. He felt smart. He felt like a good pet owner. He felt a little less alone. Which is why, when the app notification buzzed 30 minutes after he got in bed on a Thursday night, he almost ignored it. The apartment was dark. Ruck lay at his feet. The fan hummed. Daryl rolled over and picked up his phone. Motion detected. Bedroom. He frowned. Probably me lying down, he thought. He opened the app anyway and felt his hand tighten around the phone because the video did not show him in bed. It showed someone else walking into the room. On the screen, a tall, thin man stepped into the bedroom. His skin looked pale, almost gray in the low-light camera. He moved with exaggerated, cartoon-like sneaking steps, heel, then toe, arms bent at his sides. He wore a baggy hoodie and dark pants. Daryl did not own a hoodie like that. He did not know any man built like that. The stranger moved closer to the camera. Closer, closer. His face filled the frame. Large eyes, wide grin, teeth too straight to be comforting in that angle. He leaned in so close that, for a stupid second, Daryl felt like he could smell something through the screen, something damp and sour. The man smiled wider. Daryl's thumb hit pause. The image froze with the stranger's face inches from the lens. The room around Daryl was silent. Ruck slept at the end of the bed, curled, undisturbed. Daryl stared at the paused frame, then slowly turned his head toward the real bedroom doorway. Empty. No hoodie. No pale face. No cartoon steps. The air felt normal. His heart thudded, but his mind tried to reason. Maybe it was some old clip, he thought. A demo. A test video. Something preloaded in the app. He forced himself to exhale. He unpaused with a shaky thumb. On screen, the stranger pulled back from the camera, turned his head as if listening. Then he moved across the room, slow and strange, to the edge of the bed. The bed was empty in the feed. No Daryl. No cat. The stranger crouched down, and then, with deliberate care, he slid under the bed. At the last second, before his face disappeared from view, he looked straight into the camera and winked. The feed kept going. 10 seconds later, the door opened on screen. Daryl watched himself walk into the room, phone in hand, yawning. He set the phone on the nightstand. He sat on the bed. He lay down. The video ended. Daryl stared at his own face on the last frame, then at the bed he was lying in right now. In real life, a bed that, according to the video from a few minutes earlier, had a man under it. The man telling you this wants you to understand that fear did not hit all at once. It came in pieces. First, disbelief. Daryl sat up slowly, holding the phone in front of him, as if the glow was the only light in the world. His eyes moved from the video to the floor beside his bed. Nothing. Just the familiar shadow of the frame. A few dust bunnies. One stray sock. He lifted his feet off the floor anyway. His heart beat loud in his ears. He checked the hallway. Empty. The apartment door was locked, chain on, deadbolt turned. The front windows were closed, the bathroom door open, closet door closed, like always. He knew all the usual tricks. Look behind the shower curtain, check under the bed with a flashlight. But his body refused to move in those ways. He knew one thing. If he bent down to look under the bed and saw a face, his mind might crack. So he did something else. He went back to the beginning. He rewound the video, watched the man enter again, watched the strange walk, watched the close-up, paused, zoomed in. The resolution was too low to see details clearly. The hoodie looked like any cheap hoodie. The eyes looked bigger because of the lens distortion. The smile looked wrong because nobody smiles that close to a camera. Nothing about the face screamed, "This is a monster." It screamed, "This is a person." That was worse. He checked the timestamp on the video. It said 11:42 p.m. He checked the time on his phone now. 11:55 p.m., 13 minutes difference. He swallowed. Maybe the feed is delayed, he thought. Maybe this is old footage from 13 minutes ago. But that didn't help. Because in the video, 13 minutes ago, there was a man sliding under his bed. And in the present, he was sitting on that bed, above something he could not see. Fear settled in fully then. Not like a scream, like a weight. Heavy, cold, centered right in his chest. He thought about calling the police. What would he say? "Hi, I have an app that might be delayed. And a stranger maybe crawled under my bed a few minutes ago. But I can't prove it because I'm too scared to look." He stayed still, listening to the old building groan, to the hum of the fridge, to the distant rumble of cars. Ruck shifted at his feet and gave a small sigh. The cat was calm. That should have comforted him. It did not. Daryl needed something solid. A glitch explanation, a bad review, anything. He backed out of the live feed and tapped the product page on Amazon. PetView 360, 4.5 stars, 1,382 ratings. He scrolled. First review, great for watching my dog, very clear picture. Second review, setup was easy and the night vision is good. Love this thing. More of the same, happy pet owners, funny stories, photos of cats and puppies. Then he reached the bottom. The last review was different. 1 star, long block of text. The headline read, "The camera has a delay. Do not trust the time." His chest tightened. He began to read. The customer complained that the live video sometimes lagged by as much as 15 minutes. They wrote about how they thought their dog was okay, then came home to find a mess that hadn't shown up on the feed yet. They mentioned almost calling the police once, because the footage did not match reality. They finished with, "If you're using this for security, don't. The delay can fool you." Daryl scrolled back to the top of the review. The post date was from months ago. He went back to the app and opened his clip again. Stranger enters, leans in, smiles, slides under the bed, winks, disappears. Then Daryl himself enters, unaware, and lies down. He checked the timestamp again. 11:42 p.m. He checked his lock screen clock. Now it was 12:01 a.m. 19 minutes difference, more than the 13 earlier. "The time is wrong," he whispered. He did not know if that made things better or worse. Truth did something cruel then. It split in two. One version, the video was from before. The man had come, crawled under the bed, and maybe left. Maybe. Another version. The video was from now, or a few minutes from now, and the delay meant he was watching a future that had not fully happened in his present yet. Both were bad. He pressed his bare feet against the mattress, not letting them hang. He moved to the headboard, sat with his back to the wall, phone in both hands. He thought of Imani, his ex, laughing at horror movies, saying, "If it were me, I'd just leave the house." It was not him. He did not leave. He watched. And the truth got worse. Because the longer he stared at the frozen frame of the man's grin, the more something about it bothered him. Not the teeth, not the eyes, the shape of the jaw. It looked familiar. Daryl did not sleep that night. He sat against the headboard until morning, phone in hand, watching the doorway, listening to every creak of the building like it was a footstep. When pale light edged around the curtains, he finally slid off the bed, heart pounding, and yanked it away from the wall. Nothing under it. No man, no hoodie, no sign of anyone. Just dust in the cat toy he thought he lost last month. He told himself he had overreacted. He told himself it was a glitchy clip, maybe from another device on the same network. Some neighbor's feed mixed up. Some bug in the app. He still uninstalled the app before work. At the office, he tried to be normal. He answered calls. "Yes, ma'am, I can help you with that." Try unplugging the modem for 30 seconds. Is the light blinking or solid? He kept seeing the grin in his mind, over and over. He opened a private browser tab and searched pet camera wrong feed bug, IP camera someone else's house, time delay on live security feed. He found forums about delay issues, people complaining about seeing something on camera that didn't match real time. He also found urban legends, stories about camera hacks, people waking up to strangers watching them. He closed those quickly. At lunch, he considered calling the police about the video, maybe turning it in as evidence. But he imagined the reaction. You're saying a man who isn't there is under your bed because an app with known delay problems showed you a spooky clip. No broken window, no forced door, nothing missing. Just one scared man and a cheap white camera. He knew how that would look. Like stress, like paranoia. Society does not move for fear without proof. So Daryl ate his sandwich in silence and told no one. When he got home that evening, the apartment was fine. Front door locked, curtains intact, no damage. Ruck meowed and rubbed against his leg. The camera still sat on the dresser. Blue light off, he didn't touch it. For 3 nights, he slept on the couch. Rook did too. He told himself it was because the couch was better for his back. He knew why. On the 4th night, something changed. The couch gave him cramps. His neck hurt. He missed his bed. He told himself he would just clean up the bedroom, move some things around, make the space feel different. Rational thoughts, reasonable steps. He went in. The camera still sat on the dresser, lens dark. He plugged it back in. Maybe if he controlled it, he thought, it would feel less like it controlled him. The blue light came on. He re-downloaded the app, logged back in. His old clip was still there. He did not watch it. Instead, he opened Live View. The screen showed the room as it was now. Empty bed, curtains half closed. His own face reflected faintly in the black part at the top of the screen. He switched off the audio, turned down the brightness, set the phone on the nightstand, face down. He climbed into bed. Rook settled at his feet. He stared at the ceiling. Sleep came in little broken pieces. A noise woke him. He checked the time. 3:18 a.m. He sat up, picked up his phone. Another notification. Motion detected. Bedroom. His throat went dry. He opened the app. The live feed loaded. He saw nothing. Just his own empty bed. The rumpled blanket. The halo of light from the hall. The door slightly open. He frowned. Maybe the motion was just the blanket shifting when he sat up. He almost put the phone down. Then he noticed something strange. The timestamp on the feed said 3:05 a.m., 13 minutes behind. He watched the screen. On video, the bed was still. Then something moved in the lower right corner. Under the frame. A hand, thin, pale. It gripped the floor and pulled a body out from under the bed. The stranger again. Same hoodie, same slow, exaggerated movements. Daryl watched himself on screen, still asleep, unaware. The man stood over the bed, tilted his head, smiled down at the sleeping version of Daryl. Then, slowly, he turned toward the camera and raised a finger to his lips. Shh. In real time, in the real room, Daryl sat frozen, phone shaking in his hand. On screen, the stranger leaned in close to the lens again. The same grin, the same jawline. And this time, in the dim grain of the night vision, Daryl saw what had bothered him before. The scar above the right eyebrow. He touched his own. Same place, same shape. His breath stopped. The man telling you this is not scared. He has seen this pattern before. He will explain it to you. Quietly. When people are under stress, alone, and sleep-deprived, their minds start to split their own actions into pieces. Sometimes they forget what they did while tired. Sometimes they move around their homes half awake. Sometimes they do things in the night they do not remember in the morning. It is called dissociation. It is called parasomnia. It is called sleepwalking. Most of the time, it is harmless. Eat something, stand in a hallway, mumble. Sometimes it is not. You must remember the facts. The cat never reacted to the stranger. There was no sound of a break-in. Nothing went missing. The only three beings in that apartment were Daryl, Ruck, and the camera. And the camera did not lie. It showed a man who had the same height as Daryl, the same forehead scar, the same way of scratching his neck. But Daryl did not recognize himself because he did not want to. So when the feed lagged, his mind did something clever and cruel. It turned his own sleepwalking body into a separate person, a threat, a danger, something outside himself. The delay sealed it. 13 minutes, 15 minutes, 19 minutes. Enough time for him to move in the dark, half awake, then forget. Enough time for the app to catch up and show him an earlier version of himself that felt like someone else. He thought he was the scared man on the bed. He did not see that he was also the man under it. In his mind, he split into two roles, the victim and the intruder. The man telling you this wants you to understand. The horror was not that someone had broken into his home. The horror was that he had broken into his own life. And the camera was the only witness. Daryl did not want that explanation. He wanted a stranger. Strangers can be arrested. So he told himself he was wrong. He told himself the scar was coincidence. He stayed up all night going through old footage, trying to find any proof that the man was someone else. He found more clips, short ones, The app had auto-saved them when it detected motion. In one, the hoodie man stood in the kitchen, staring at the sink. In another, he opened the fridge, stared inside for a full minute, then closed it again. In another, he stood at the bedroom window, fingers tapping the glass in a slow rhythm. No sound, no clear face. Every time he paused and zoomed, some detail betrayed him. The way the man rubbed his shoulder, the way he tilted his head, the way he walked with one foot slightly turned out. All habits Daryl recognized, his own. He went to work that day and could not answer calls. Words blurred in his ears. He heard his own voice on the line and did not trust it. At lunch, he booked a doctor appointment, told them he thought he might be sleepwalking, or having blackouts, or losing time. The first available slot was in 4 weeks. He hung up. That night, he made a plan. He set the camera on a high shelf, angled to see the whole room and the bed. He turned off the delay correction in the app settings. He checked the time on his microwave, his phone, and the app all matched. He put his phone on the dresser, not the nightstand. If he got up in the night, he would have to pass the camera to reach it. He told himself, if I see the man again and it's me, I'll know. He turned off the light. Rook curled at his feet, his heartbeat slow and heavy. Sleep came in fragments. At 2:47 a.m., the notification went off. He woke with his heart already racing. The room was dark. The phone screen glowed on the dresser. He did not remember getting up to put it there. He got out of bed. His legs felt heavy like moving through water. He picked up the phone. Notification. Motion detected. Bedroom, live. The timestamp said 2:46 a.m., 1 minute ago. He opened the live feed. The video showed the room from the camera's point of view. The bed, the door, the dresser, and a man standing beside the bed, not moving, his back to the camera, hood up. Daryl's breath caught. He reached up with his free hand and touched his own head. No hood. He looked down at himself. T-shirt, sweatpants, bare feet. On the screen, the man beside the bed lifted a hand. He held a phone. He looked down at it. Slowly, very slowly, he turned toward the camera. The face on the screen was his. Not kind of his, exactly his. Same scar, same short beard, same tired eyes. His own face stared back at him from the feed, looking straight into the camera. In real life, Daryl lifted the phone higher. On the screen, his double did the same. Teeth bared, mouth open. He realized he was not watching a delayed clip. He was watching live. The app glitched again for a second, stuttered, then caught up fully. Now the feed matched his movements exactly. Phone up, eyes wide, mouth open. He was the man in the room. He had always been the man in the room. But the earlier clips with the hoodie were the same. He had put the hoodie on in half sleep, walked, looked, crawled under the bed, got back in, forgot. The time delay turned those acts into someone else's. His mind did the rest. He sank to the floor. Rook meowed softly and rubbed against his leg. He understood, all at once, why the cat had never been afraid. There was never anyone else there. The real horror was simpler and colder than ghosts or intruders. He was losing pieces of time. He did not know what he might do in those missing minutes. Epilogue. The review. 2 months later, Daryl sat at his kitchen table with a laptop open. The apartment was the same. Couch, curtains, litter box in the corner, pet camera in its box now, unplugged, pushed to the back of a closet. He had seen a neurologist, a sleep specialist, a therapist. They told him he had episodes of non-REM parasomnia, sleepwalking but with open eyes and complex actions, triggered by stress, made worse by irregular sleep and anxiety. He asked, "Can I hurt someone like that?" They said, "It's rare, but possible." He thought about that a lot. He thought about the nights he had walked under his own bed, the way he had stood over himself, the way he had stared at the window. He thought about waking up with the front door unlocked once and not knowing why. He put the camera away for good. But the Amazon order history stayed. Sometimes he opened the product page and scrolled down, past the happy reviews, past great camera, past love seeing my cat while I'm at work, down to the 1-star review at the bottom, the one that said, "The camera has a delay. Do not trust the time." He clicked it. The username on the review was his, dgreen89. He had written it 3 weeks ago, on a night he did not remember. The text was longer than he thought. It described how the camera lagged, how it showed things out of order, how it made him think someone was in his house when it was just the delay. He read the last line. "If you're using this to feel safe, don't. It can fool you into seeing things that aren't really there. Or worse, missing the things that are." He sat back. The man telling you this wants you to see what he finally understood. He had posted a warning to himself. In a time he did not remember, he had told himself the truth and then forgotten it. He closed the laptop. He did not buy another camera. He got a second lock on the front door. He told his therapist everything. He slept with a chair against the door, not because of strangers, but because of his own hands in the dark. If you go on Amazon tonight and scroll down far enough on the right product, you might see that review. You might think it is about some cheap camera with bad software. You might think it is a horror story. It isn't. It is a man trying to leave a note for himself inside a world that only listens when you click 5 stars. So if you ever buy something to make you feel safe, read the reviews carefully. And ask yourself one more question. If you saw a stranger in your home on camera, how sure are you that it wouldn't be you?
Thank you for listening to The Storyteller's Moon. If this story touched you, scared you, or kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps the stories alive, and I can't wait to share the next one with you under the moonlight. Until then, may your nights be safe and your dreams unforgettable.